It was a Tuesday. It was raining, I was running 10 minutes late, and I was halfway through a frantic sentence to someone on the phone. And that's when my dog wandered up with a tennis ball in her mouth. I didn't even look at her. I just held up a hand, whispered, "Not now, baby," and turned my back. When I finally hung up the phone, she was sitting 6 feet away, watching me. Not anxious or angry, she just gets quiet, the way a small child gets quiet when they figure out they aren't going to be digged up. Cognitive scientists are pretty aligned on this now. A dog's emotional and intellectual development caps out at roughly the equivalent of a human 2-year-old. When you're living with a permanent toddler, one who will never speak or grow up to tell you how they feel, every distracted wave of the hand starts to look very different. We tend to project our own adult motives onto them. When a dog chews up the couch while you're gone, it is easy to assume they are getting back at you for leaving, but their anatomy tells a simpler story. This diagram shows the canine brain next to a human brain. Dogs possess the exact same emotional hardware we do: serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, cortisol. The structures that process feeling, the limbic system and the amygdala, are virtually identical to ours. What they lack is a heavily developed prefrontal cortex. That means they don't have the architecture for higher order emotions. No guilt, no premeditated revenge, no spite. All that's left underneath are the raw, pure signals: fear, joy, and love. Because they feel intensely but lack the logic to contextualize those feelings, every small interaction, every raised voice or sudden movement is taken at face value. We see this play out on an average day. It's 7:40 a.m. You hit snooze too many times, you have to be at work, and you just need the dog to do their business so you can leave. But a dog processes the neighborhood through their nose. Sniffing is their primary cognitive enrichment. Every fire hydrant is a chapter, every scent is a sentence. When they find something complicated that they need to read, and we yank the leash because we have a train to catch, the psychological effect is incredibly jarring. It is the canine equivalent of having a book violently slammed shut in your face. Rushing the walk deprives them of the main tool they have to safely investigate and understand the world outside your apartment walls. Later, you leave for work. Maybe they dawdled at the walk, so you close the crate door with a sharp sigh of frustration. The crate is supposed to be a safe den, but when it's closed in anger, it stops being a sanctuary and starts feeling like a punishment. At 5:50 p.m., you come home. You've had a brutal day, your jaw is tight, and you're carrying the heavy stress of the office straight through the front door. You might think you're hiding it. You aren't. This graph illustrates emotional contagion. When your stress hormone cortisol spikes, it is instantly mirrored by your dog. They catch your emotions, fueling a vicious feedback loop. You radiate anxiety, their cortisol climbs, they act out, which stresses you out even more. In this way, most canine behavioral problems are actually downstream of the owner. Your dog is often just acting as a biological mirror for a human who is having a hard time. After dinner, the vacuum comes out. Your dog cowers in the corner. If you yell at them for trembling, you aren't fixing the behavior. You are just confirming their worst suspicion, that the loud machine is dangerous and that you are dangerous too. When they bring you that ball later, they are performing a specific social ritual. For a pack animal, this is a bid for connection, a vulnerable attempt to engage their most important person in a shared activity. We wave them off because we're tired. But if you brush off a pack animal's request for connection enough times, they slowly give up. They stop asking. And once they stop asking, you don't get those bids back easily. Ignoring those tiny, quiet requests chips away at the fundamental trust between you, leaving them feeling profoundly isolated in the exact place they are supposed to feel the most secure. It's 10:42 p.m. The house is finally quiet. You sit down on the couch, you exhale, and your dog walks over to rest their chin on your knee. They do this because they lack the prefrontal cortex required to process spite. They literally do not have the capacity to hold a grudge against you. The rushed walk, the slammed crate, the rejected tennis ball, it is all instantly forgiven. But even if it's forgotten, the dog felt every bit of that day as it happened. This is the part nobody warns you about. They are going to love you anyway, even on the days you didn't really see them. So it is our job to slow down, to notice the tennis ball, and to try, in 1,000 tiny daily ways, to be the person our dog already thinks we are.